You know how Yorshka is sort of kind of sitting in a tower? Is she going to be consumed next?
Who knows? Like, Yorshka is again like it's like here's half a story problem that Dark Souls 3 has, where like we used to think there's no way Yorshka can be Gwyn's daughter because Gwyn only had 3 children. Then the Ring City showed up and it turned out that he had another one that we just never heard about, which opens up the possibility that maybe Yorshka is one of Gwyn's children. And when she calls Gwyndolin brother, she literally means brother. It's not a term of endearment.
Mhm.
So it would make sense if, like, when Aldrich just finished eating Gwyndolin, if he wants to, like, eat all of the gods, then he would eat Yorshka next year.
Mhm.
But I don't know why she is, like, why he hasn't already eaten her if she's just in a town, like, right there.
Hmm.
'Cause, Sullivan is described as, like, he kinda took over the Dark Moon Knights, purged them, and Yorshka's the captain of the Dark Moon Knights, so I don't know, maybe she's being kept alive for that reason. I don't know. Although you'd think he'd want her dead if she was the I don't know.
You know what I found really strange? Again, when I first played Dark Souls 3, it's like
Yeah.
I'm talking to Yorshka and then I'm thinking, oh, after I talk to her, because she's like, I'm imprisoned here, whatever, she'll show up in my shrine. I waited for like 4 weeks. She never showed up.
No, she never shows up.
Like, that's what usually happens. You talk to a character and they're like, see you at the shrine.
Yes.
Yeah, I was really sad about that.
Uh, yeah, and, like, on the subject of, like, we were talking the last time about Irithyll and dragons and stuff being shuffled around.
Mhm.
There's Yorshka's set is, like, in the game, and you can get it. It's like it's in the game files, but you can never acquire it. But you can hack it in and you can, like, wear it. And it says that, like, it's describing Yorshka's robes as they're being turned gray from, like, the filth in the prison cell that she's held in. And it says that she's held in the dungeon. Now, obviously, she's not held in the dungeon in the game that we play because she is in the tower. But if you imagine that she was in Irithyll dungeon, that would kinda make slightly more sense.
Right.
Of, like, why? Because Aldrich may not know she's there, and, like, Sullivan might be, like, interested in her because of all the dragon experiments that are going on in Irithyll dungeon. Because she looks kind of, like, draconic, like, she's got the tail and she's got the scales around her
Like her
eyes.
face.
Yeah, so, like, she might be, like there might be some, like, removed plot line where Yorshka was involved in those, like, dragon experiment things going on, and she was kept captive in Irithyll dungeon.
Mhm. Oh, you also talked about some similarities between Yorshka and Felinor?
Kinda. They're both, they look similar. Like, they have similar kinda, like no, Yorshka and the painter look the same.
But I'm talking about the
I
spear.
might have said film. Oh, yeah, right, the spear. Okay, here we go. Um, when you meet Filianor in the Ringed City, she is asleep, and she is defended by what are called the Spears of the Church, who are, like, literally it's a spear. They make these spears shoot out of the ground. And also Filianor is Gwyn's daughter. And then when you meet, Yorshka, Yorshka is also described as Gwyn's daughter, and she has a church called the Church of Yorshka, and there is a spear in the Church of Yorshka, which is the church's spear, and it's described as having, the game calls it a soporific spell, which means a sleeping spell. And I checked the Japanese, and it in Japanese, it just outright said this spear has a sleeping spell on. So it's almost like Yorshka is an early version of Filianor in a sense that she's like a daughter of Gwyn who is associated with this magical sleep, and she is trapped in a church with a spear. But it again, like, I don't know where that's going because like, it's there, but then she's just the leader of the Dark Moon Covenant, so who knows? It's kinda like when you meet Soul of Cinder, you fight it in the Dreg Heap, which we just assumed was like, this is a weird area, and then the DLC comes out, and suddenly the Dreg Heap is a specific place, and it's those same assets and the same kinda basic design. So it makes you wonder, like, well, was the version we saw in the base game, like, an early kinda dry run, and then they did the DLC later to expand on that idea or something? I don't know.
Hmm. Cool, thank you. Okay, I guess I have to ask.
Okay.
What's the deal with Yorshka? Is she from a painting?
She's very, very much like Priscilla, and she's in the spire of an old church, and that church is very, very like the architectural style doesn't quite fit with the style of the rest of Irothil. Like it's a lot cruder. And the way that she's in this church that's very, very snowy, and it's near a graveyard, and in the graveyard there are the crow people.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that seems to be a callback to the painted world where Priscilla was. But it doesn't seem to lead anywhere. The closest is you can get the life hunt scythe from Aldrich's soul, and that's Priscilla's weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about Gwyndolin being devoured, and he had a vision of a young pale girl in hiding, which is probably Yorshka, but could also mean Priscilla. So it's like maybe it's positing some kind of connection between Priscilla, Yorshka, and Gwyndolin. Like maybe they're trying to retcon it and say that Priscilla was one of Gwyn's other children,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why she's hidden in the painted world because no one's supposed to know about it.
Okay, cool.
But also, like Priscilla and Yorshka, they have dragon tails. They have dragon-like features, and when you meet Gwyndolin, his lower body is like this mass of snakes, which is also kind of dragon-like. So maybe they're kind of making a connection between those things.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
If we could cut off Yorshka's tail, what do you think we could get?
Probably nothing useful at all.
Just like her?
Yeah, she's the most infuriating fucking NPC in this. Oh my god. I spent an entire long weekend just grinding for ears, just to get that platinum trophy in a game I don't even like. So I loathe Yorshka more than I think any NPC in any Souls game,
Uh,
including the time I lost like 200,000 humanity because Patches knocked me off a bridge. Because Patches is at least like an amiable, funny character, whereas Yorshka is just like insufferable.
well, you know what? That was your own fault for hoarding things.
It's true.
He was teaching you an important lesson.
Yes.
Uh, okay. Is there anything else in terms of Aldrich, Sullivan, Rosaria, Unrioris?